Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz. It is March 12th, 2017, and it is 1:56 a.m. in Birmingham. Topic, just reconfirm something. The church will not go through the tribulation. And there's too many studies being done by too many good people that dissects every Bible, King James version, all of them, and then takes the Torah, the original Hebrew Bible, and of course the original Hebrew doesn't have Revelations, but if you go and read Genesis, you're reading Revelations. Genesis is talking about, well, it's a play for the part that's in the end times. It is a play. The end times is the live performance, and that's in Revelations, and also in 2 Corinthians, it clearly tells us that the restrainer will continue to restrain until he is moved out of the way. And this is, why should he restrain and continue to restrain? What is he restraining? He's restraining the Antichrist. And John SHOREY did a show, and I did not look at the date. And but by what I gather, it's been in the last year. And he did it on the Jim Baker show. And he was talking about the church will go through the first half of the tribulation. And I'm going to show you where he's wrong. Because in chapter 4, verse 1, Revelations, the church is mentioned there and not mentioned again until chapter 18. So the church is void of this earth. It talks about everything else that happens, but not about the church. Church is not there to be talked about. It does say in Revelations chapter 13, verse 7, according to John, and I read it, and it clearly said the saints will go through. And then at a time, those in heaven said, wow, where did this multitude come from? And they said they were the saints that was on the earth. Well, let me tell you two things. Those who died during the tribulation that knew Christ, they're the saints. We are the church. Don't confuse the two. We are the church today. In chapter, 13, verse 7 of Revelations, the saints, those killed during that 7-year period. And then those who make it through the 7 years, those who turn to Christ and were saved and were able to hide out and were able to be spared, they will be the ones who will go right on through into the millennium alive. They'll be the ones to replenish the earth. If you read it and go at it this way, chapter 13, verse 7, he says everybody's gone. Well, then who is going to be left to replenish the earth? So there's three ways. Corinthians tells us the restrainer restraineth until he is removed. And who is he? He's the Holy Spirit. Where is he? He is in every Christian. And who are the Christian? The church. And then after the church is gone, the tens of millions, hundreds of millions will know instantly, my God, we missed the rapture of the church. So they will come to Christ, a large number. And when they die, when they're killed, at a point, Christ will resurrect them and call them up. That's where Revelation 13:7 is, the saints, not the church. The church is already there. And then those that never died and made it through, that will live on for another almost 1,000 years, because the lifespan will get greater and greater and longer. I would say if a person lived all the way through the tribulation and lived the first day of the 1,000 years, then he'll live the next 500 years at least before he dies. Because this earth will have rid of most of the evil, including the things that bite and sting, and they're gone. They're over with. They're out of here. And the reason for the 1,000-year millennium, it's simple. You still have to have those born of flesh and blood, just like today. If you go to heaven, you have to accept Christ. Not by works, not by any other way. You can't buy your way, pay your way. You can't work hard enough. You can't work every day, 7 days a week, 22 hours a day in a church and be saved. You have to accept Christ. It's too simple. Just John 3:16. And so they will go through the 1,000 years. And then by the end of that 1,000 years, they may be 7 billion more people on earth. Maybe more than that. My guess, more than that. But how many of those who went this whole time? Because keep in mind, during that time, sin will be frowned upon. It's an outcast. In other words, people who sin will do their best to cover it up and to not do it in the open and to hide while doing it. Very few will sin in the open because they'll be frowned upon, because we'll be in a different time as the early church is being built back once again. So here's why the 1,000 years. During that time, every person has to accept Christ in order to go on into the new earth and the new heavens. If this person doesn't accept Christ, then he's lost. But if you remember, when Satan was thrown into hell, but then he was released at the end of the 1,000 years for a short while, he drew once again hundreds of millions, if not billions, to his side. And they think that they can actually join Satan and defeat Christ because he poisons their mind along that 1,000 years. Not him, but those who will remember him. So he will make his presence known in the same manner that it's known today through, again, going back to the days of Noah. There were giants in those days and after. Well, in this time, there's going to be evil people in those days, and the evil didn't come through, but the evil didn't all die off. They came through. They still have to accept Christ. The ones that didn't die during the 7-year tribulation. Most of them did. Some of them still didn't. So this is where the little bit of sin starts back up and grows into a giant snowball again. Keep in mind, if you're a Christian today, you will be raptured before the beginning of the 7-year tribulation. those who died during the tribulation and are taken out as saints, exactly what they are. They're saints of the tribulation. And those that didn't die, that made it through, and those that accepted Christ and made it through, they will go through. But some won't accept Christ, and there'll be more that won't accept Christ. So the last time Satan is released to get all he can get, then God says, okay, everybody's made their move. You've got Satan and you've got Jesus. Everybody through moving? Yes. Then that's it. It's over. No war, no fight, no battle. Instantly they're thrown into hellfire and where they're going to be burned up. You're not going through the tribulation. Jesus is not going to leave us. In other words, the Holy Spirit will not leave us behind. He's not going to vacate our body and let us go through hell and torture, even if it's 3.5 years. He's not going to do it. When he leaves, we go with him. Jody Wolf Expoz.